house tour. Show us your piano.
Wow.
So cool.
Hello everyone, ICCBN Camp is back and better than ever.
We are the producers of ICCBN Camp. And today we have prepared our very own podcast called Bersama CBNERs. Let's pass the floor to Tasdia.
Hello everybody, welcome to ICCBN. I'm Taz from Independent Girls Club, and we share hope to chill with our fellow CBNers and more with our podcast Chill Bersama CBNers. To start our first CBN camp, our first episode is titled How to Deal with Sudden Anxiety. The feeling of fear and dread. Will our interactors have some points that can help with it? Hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much for opening this podcast, Dia. Now Marisa, can you tell us what do you think about anxiety?
Yes. So the feeling of anxiety is a feeling of fear, dread, and uneasiness that may occur as a reaction to stress. A person with anxiety may sweat, feel restless and tense, and have a rapid heartbeat. Extreme anxiety that happens often over time may be a sign of an anxiety disorder. Examples of anxiety disorders are separation anxiety disorders. This disorder can occur when someone you're close to leaves your side. This disorder can disrupt someone's self-independence because they're always rely on someone else. Secondly is social anxiety. This anxiety occurs when someone worries or fears socializing with the public. The person will feel overwhelmed by their surroundings. This disorder can make a person antisocial and lonely because of the lack of socialization. Lastly is panic disorder. This occurs when someone is having a panic attack. The feeling of the attack is described as a sudden feeling of intense fear that makes the person's body go into shock. This disorder can ruin a person's mental health as the attacks can be very exhausting. That's all.
Whoa, I didn't realize anxiety can be categorized in different forms. Well, how do you guys deal with sudden anxiety then? Irina?
Hi, so my name is Irina. I would like to talk about ways you can deal with sudden anxiety. So there are a few methods, but I would start with the 5-5-5 method, where when you feel like anxiety coming in, you just breathe in for 5 seconds, then you hold your breath for 5 seconds, and then you breathe out for 5 seconds. And next is to smell lavender. Basically, just have to, if you are like usually having anxiety or like panic attack, just buy a lavender candle and just light it up, in your room or like in your living room. So when you feel it coming in, you just go to that candle or just use, essential lavender oil and put it in your diffuser, as it can help calm your anxiety and relieve your stress. And method number 3 are to listen to some musics. I believe we ourselves have our own music that we would like to listen to when we feel down, or like music that can instantly cheer us. But definitely, I would recommend you to listen to music like, calm ones and R&B, not like hip hop's like very, very, because like you have an anxiety coming in, I feel it would make it worse. And lastly is the, again, angel number 3-3-3 method, where you just name 3 things you can see and identify 3 sounds you hear, and then move 3 parts of your body. Example like, your hands, your head, or just like your legs. So when you feel your brain like coming in at like 1000 miles per hour, this can help center your mind. Yeah, that's all from me. I hope this helps.
Thank you so much. Okay, interesting. My safe place is definitely my room. And while putting ourselves aside, how do you guys deal with people who have anxiety? Sabrina?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Sabrina, and today I'll be talking about how to deal with friends, family, relatives who have anxiety. Okay, so before anything, we have to make sure to educate ourselves to make sure that we can learn more about their disorders and their symptoms, causes, and potential triggers before actually comforting someone who has to deal with them from a day-to-day basis. Understanding anxiety better will enable you to offer appropriate support and empathy. Okay, so here are some tips for when you actually talk to them and comfort them. First, we have to make sure to be a good listener. Allow the person to talk openly about their anxiety. Make sure you assure them that it's a safe space, and you have to show genuine interest. Maintain eye contact. Avoid interrupting or cutting off or dismissing their experiences. Next, when we're talking to them, we have to make sure to be patient. Listen to their wishes and take things at a pace that feels okay for them. It is understandable to want our friends to face their fears and find practical solutions, but it can be very distressing for someone to feel like they're being forced into situations when they're not ready. Next is to validate their feelings. Acknowledge and validate their emotions. Let them know that their feelings are real and understandable. Avoid saying phrases like calm down or don't worry, as it may minimize their experience or make them feel like they're being dramatic or overreacting. Next is to be a consistent presence, meaning being there for them, always DMing them, keeping in contact with them. It is important to keep an open line of communication with them. If you're able to see the person regularly, even if you're not, DMing and stuff, if you are able to see the person regularly, as this will help with managing anxiety, spend one-on-one time with them so that they have opportunities to talk about anything they feel anxious about. This would build trust and avoid any misunderstanding between the both of you. Okay, so lastly, it is really, really important to remember to look after yourself. It sometimes can be really challenging and overwhelming to support someone with a mental health problem. And if you do feel overwhelmed, it is totally fine. So you have to make sure you have to take care of your own mental health and your own energy, time, and space so that you're able to help that person. Thank you.
Dang, that shaken my heart a little. Anyways, it is said that up to 40% of people in Malaysia suffer from anxiety. So do you guys have any tips? Sammy?
Yes, we can. Hello, I'm Sammy, and I'm going to share some tips on how you can reduce anxiety. First of all, you can practice self-care. You can set aside some time for yourself to practice self-care, as self-care can reduce your stress and anxiety levels. You can go for a walk outside, or you can even take a bath. Next up, meditation. Meditation can seize you from overthinking. It can bring you peace, and it can ease you up and release all that tension inside of you. 20 minutes of meditation for twice a day is great, and maybe you can do 40 minutes, 1 hour, and so on. Next up, we have art. So you can do art, any type of art really, visual art, literary art. So you can actually grab a book or a piece of paper, a pen, and start writing, drawing, or scribbling your feelings away. Anxiety is actually best dealt with through art, and art is best composed when you are in a state of thoughtlessness, or even when there are too many thoughts, in fact. Last but not least, you should reduce your caffeine. Those drinks and foods can stimulate your central nervous system. Consuming too much may worsen your anxiety, and it can harm your sleep quality. In return, this may increase stress and anxiety symptoms. So, if caffeine makes you jittery or anxious, do consider cutting back by replacing coffee or energy drinks with decaffeinated coffee, herbal tea, or water. All in all, you can practice self-care, meditation, do art, and reduce your caffeine intake to reduce anxiety. That's all from me.
Thank you, Sammy. Since one of the interactors couldn't join us today, so here's Damia talking about the natural remedies for anxiety.
Hi, I'm Interactor Nordamehana from Group It's Monday again. I would like to share a few natural remedies for anxiety relief. First of all, physical exercise can help to reduce anxiety symptoms. High intensity exercise is actually more effective than low intensity regimens. Next, smelling soothing plant essential oil can help to ease stress and anxiety. I would like to suggest that lavender may be especially helpful in treating anxiety disorder. Furthermore, many herbal teas promise to help with anxiety and ease sleep. Making and drinking tea is actually very soothing. Some teas may have a more direct effect on the brain that result in reduced anxiety. Other than that, herbal supplements claim to reduce anxiety, but no need to worry since little scientific evidence supports all these claims.
And now we'll move on to Tasdia with the outro.
Okay, so, well, I guess that's it for today. Please share this video with your friends so you can spread the word. So thank you for listening, and this is me signing off. See you soon.
Bye.